Hello, everyone, and welcome to the VZWBuzz chat recap. We were not here last Friday. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We did have a chance to put our devices down and enjoy the family and our friends, but we're back in full force because December is a really important month for all of us. I know everyone is either coming or going, we're buying gifts, we're getting gifts, and I know that at the top of the list that technology is always ranking super high on gifts. So it's really important to join us, ask any questions that you might have about tech that you might be considering for yourself or for your family. And today we talk about a very important issue because it often will determine the technology that you buy, and that is the data, how you should buy it, what are the sort of considerations that you need to make when choosing your data. And I am thrilled that we're going to be giving away a brand new Moto X smartphone. These are amazing devices, and this one in particular has a bamboo cover. It's beautiful. So we will award the winner. Today we want to ask you what you learned during the chat. What was the one thing that you did not know that you walked away with, either during the chat or on the recap? And I am thrilled that I am joined today by our favorite Robin's World. She's Robin Wright, and she's based in St. Louis. How are you, Robin?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I always love Fridays. I love to have the recaps and chat with our friends and get to see you oftentimes and work with Marty and Misty. So I see you're wearing your tiger print today.
I am. I'm getting my wild side on today.
Well, if there's a day to get your wild side on, it's a Friday afternoon. So good for you.
I missed last week. I was happy to spend time with my family and kind of unplug that weekend a lot, but I still missed everybody, and I was so glad to be back today. I was like, yay!
I know, it's so great. On the first Friday of December every year, my family and I, which we're doing tonight, we go to this one restaurant in New York City, and it's quite big. It's actually a huge restaurant. I think it seats, I don't know, it must seat at least a couple hundred people. It's giant, which for New York, is big. And we sing the 12 Days of Christmas, and they break the restaurant up into sections, and everybody gets a piece. And it's so much fun. It happens once a year, and so we're going to do that tonight after the recap. I'd love to know what everyone is doing on this Friday night. What are some of the special holiday traditions that you guys all observe? The topic today, as you know, Robin, is how to choose the right data plan, and everyone is, sometimes confused or sometimes really convinced about the data plan that they chose. And I'm going to break this topic down into some pieces. So first of all, I want you to help us demystify or explain the idea of unlimited data, right? So many people feel unlimited data is, something to hang on to for life, and they're not going to change it no matter what, even if they're on a device like this. Let me show you. Even if they're using a device like this, the old flip phone, they have unlimited data, so they're going to stick with it. So tell us a little bit about that sort of whole concept.
Okay. So there is a very small fraction of the wireless users that can benefit from unlimited, but it's really very tiny. The majority of people do not need unlimited, and what you really, like 1 to 2 gigabytes is what the average person needs in a month if they're using a smartphone or if they have a tablet connected in that. And I know people, they don't want to worry about it. They go, well, I'm unlimited, so I don't even have to worry about it. But the thing is that there's really such great tools. And it used to be that you would go over and not know and stuff, but there's laws that have changed about that. The companies have gotten better about notifying us. And so when you reach 50% of your limit, you get a notification. When you reach 75, 95, and they really give you a lot of warning. And then we talked a lot in the chat today about if you're on Verizon, the My Verizon app is a fabulous tool, and then built in with some of your phones There are other apps that will help manage your data, or it helps you see where it's going in that. So it really, I know that there's some of you that die hard, they're going to go, nope, 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 unlimited for me, but it really isn't necessary for the majority, for I'd say at least 98% of the people, it is not a requirement.
Yeah, I was going to say too that because of the work that we do, and we talk a lot to some of you guys, influencers, bloggers, and there's an even larger perception that unlimited data is something to hang on to. But every single time that I have done a comparison with people on not only price but also the quality of the data that you get and how much you actually consume, you find that at least on Verizon, the More Everything plan will actually give you everything you need. It'll give you flexibility, so pick a flexible plan in general, and also you save money. So in a case of our family, and most of the families that I've been talking to, you save about $20 or more a month if you give up that idea of unlimited data and you actually choose a flexible plan whereby you all share data. And so I find that more important to saving money than saying, okay, you're going to get 4 gigs, you're going to get 10 gigs, you're going to get 5. When you have a plan where you can share, obviously I haven't found a case where giving up unlimited data didn't save money. So if it's for that reason, it's a good thing to consider.
And I would add too, so you all, everybody listening and watching right now and on the Twitter chat knows that I travel frequently for Verizon location things, and I travel for some other companies and that. And on my personal Verizon plan, we have the More Everything plan in my family. We have 5 lines. So we have 4 smartphones and 1 tablet. That includes 2 teenagers who stream music and videos all the time. Now, granted, when they're at home, they're on our home Wi-Fi, but they still use a lot. When I travel, I tether my tablet, if it's not a Wi-Fi tablet, to my smartphone. I do all of these things, and we have what I pay for is 10 gigs a month for our plan, and we don't ever go over that amount. And that's for all 4 of us, plus that extra tablet line and that. And I consume a lot of data when I'm traveling and stuff. You guys know, I always have a phone in my hand, always.
No, really?
Yes, I do.
I haven't noticed, really. It's true, actually, Jean, Geek Babe is just pointing out, you can always change your plan. And so don't feel now that, okay, you're in a plan and that's it, you're stuck. And there's definitely now a lot of flexibility for you to look at different plans. And one of the things that I have found is, say you have a child and you want to start him or her on a new smartphone, you can always get a prepaid plan and a prepaid phone like the Luge and test it out, right? See how well she takes care of it. Check the usage before you actually hand him or her an expensive device. And so prepaid plans are also a great option. Have you ever used a prepaid plan, Robin?
We had, if you remember years ago, there was a little phone called the Firefly, and it was for little kids. And so we had that briefly for my son. Another way to help with the kids too, if you do the More Everything, is with Verizon's Family Base. It's a service they provide. You can go in, and I do this with my son, you can go in and set limits on individual lines within the account. So he has, I limited him to 4 gigs. And he came close a couple of times, and I'm like, listen, you just need to cut back a little bit because mom's paying the bill here. We still have plenty, but it's nice to kind of keep him in check. So that's another option if you're already on a More Everything plan and you have a teenager who's consuming a lot. But the prepaid phone, I think, is really a great way to get started as well.
Yeah. Thank you for Kelly J. Hubbard for saying she learned that Verizon has the best plans, best service, nicer customer service reps. Well, what can we say? Verizon is our sponsor, and for more reasons than we can actually explain here, I am a big fan. Let me ask you a little bit about what are some of the choices. A lot of times, Robin, as you know, when we go and buy technology in general, salespeople, or the people at the stores, well-meaning as they are, bombard us with all this tech speak, right? And they give us, well, you might need, 15 gigs, or tell us a little bit about the sort of ways in which people can demystify that too. How do you know what a gig of data gives you, for example? What are some of the tools that are out there for us? I know you know of a few and you've used a few.
The biggest tool that I would say for people to start with is the Verizon calculator. And hopefully Geek Babe or Misty or someone can send that link out again. We sent it out during the party. But even if you're not a Verizon customer, you can go in there and it'll ask you, how many emails do you do each day? How much music do you stream each day? How many minutes of video are you streaming? How much online gaming are you doing? And it will kind of calculate for you. And it's an estimate, granted. And there are a lot of things that will change those amounts if you're on 3G versus 4G. And so why we love the 4G LTE, sometimes you're out and a little bit further and you're only picking up 3G and it changes. If you're downloading high definition video versus regular video, those things all will make a difference on the amount you consume. HTML-based email, which is the one that has all the pretty pictures in it, actually it definitely consumes more data than a text email, but still not a lot. Emails are not, terribly busy in that. Streaming music. Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Misty just posted the Verizon data calculator. So the idea here, folks, is that you can just go in there, no matter who your provider is right now, and get an idea, always get an idea of what consumes your data. Really, really important to get an idea of what's eating up your data. I know someone just posted, and I'm going to find your name, but someone just posted how they found out new things like Facebook's video was eating up all her data. So you can turn that off, for example, and this way, if you're checking Facebook on your smartphone when you're not tethered to a Wi-Fi, say at home, won't consume as much data.
Right. On my so on the Samsung devices, I think it's a Samsung thing, could be in an Android. I'll have to check on that. But I can go in and look at my data usage, and I can see what was on data, what was on Wi-Fi, and I can see for each of those how much information they're using, how much data they're using for each individual app. It'll put them in order for me. So for me, I know that OneDrive takes up a lot of mine. Instagram, I'm on Instagram a lot. That's a lot of pictures and things like that. Someone in the chat today said Snapchat. If you're a Snapchat user, that takes up a lot because that's video, and video is probably the highest consumption of data of anything you do on your phone.
Yeah, it's actually so true. We noticed that one child can actually consume something like 7 gigs of data a month just by their recently increased use of Snapchat. So I think Tommy Clifford would have some idea about that. I'd love for him to chime in on the chat if you're still there. I see him commenting about my top. So he uses Snapchat. I love how much he uses Snapchat with his kids, which is great. It's as a side note, take advantage of some of these great tools to stay connected with your friends and your family and your kids. It's once you learn one of them, you don't have to learn all of them. Snapchat's super easy, and he chats with them all the time over it, and I think it's so fabulous. What a great idea. Robin, tell us a little bit about sort of benefits and risks of using the Wi-Fi versus cell service. What are some of the things people trade off? What are some of the choices that you have to make when you have both?
I'm going to do a quick explanation of the difference between the two. So Wi-Fi is when you're not connected to your cellular provider. So I'm a Verizon customer. If I'm not connected to that signal, then I'm on Wi-Fi someplace. So when I'm at home, I'm connected to my home network. Anything I do at home doesn't count against my data plan with Verizon. So you can do this too if you go to a library. Most of them have Wi-Fi now. Coffee houses, all those different places, a school, work, a lot of times will have it. So when you're not using the signal, that's your data. That's what they call data on all the devices. That's how it's listed. Then you're on Wi-Fi. Now that you know the difference between the two, You want your connection to be secure when you do certain things like shopping, banking, anything, even email, anything that has sensitive information. You need to be careful of using public Wi-Fi, which would be coffee houses, hotels, things like that. You want to try to use data for that. And you can switch on and off if you want to. So if you're at a coffee house using their free Wi-Fi and you decide you need to do something that's a little more, that you want to be a little quieter about, just, for lack of a better word, go and turn the Wi-Fi signal off on your phone, do what you have to do, and then turn it back on when you're done.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, just kind of short, quick tips for everyone before we go. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We want to definitely remind you to check out the different plans. Remember that you can switch on Verizon, you can even switch online, check all of the options. I tend to be a fan of the live chat service online. I find that super easy to, get quick answers, and I can save the transcript. So if I need some more help later just to check some things out, I can always refer to my notes. Something that is harder to do when you're actually live speaking with someone. Definitely switch to Wi-Fi as much as possible. And on Android, I know you can check the sort of data hungry apps that you might have. iOS gives you actually the number on the list of the apps that are consuming data and how much that is. I find the graphics on Android a bit easier to get an idea of what's consuming them. What are some of your other sort of quick takeaway tips, Robin, that we can leave people with as to choosing the right data plan for themselves?
For Windows Phone, there's an app called DataSense that does exactly what you just talked about. So your best tips about saving data would be to turn off location services if you don't need them, if you're not using GPS and that. There's a lot of great ways to do it, but you can go and turn them off in individual apps or turn it off altogether. There's a benefit for it, but it does suck down a lot of data. Driving directions will suck down a lot of data. If you don't need it, turn it off. Streaming music, download your music first. Most of the music service providers will allow you to download like an hour chunk of it or certain playlists. Even if you're not buying the music, if you're just paying for the service, you can do that on most of them. That will save you a lot of data. Streaming movies, download them when you're at home on your Wi-Fi, and then you have them and you can play them when you're out and about without having to download again over your data.
Right. So as much as possible, switch to your Wi-Fi whenever possible, but also just get to know the plans. Ask a lot of questions. Join us here. You can always come to facebook.com/theonlinemom. Both Jean, Robin, Misty, all of us are there to help answer any questions you might have. And we do have a winner today of the Moto X, which is actually a great, great device. I have been playing with it, and it's fast, and it's absolutely so classic with the bamboo cover. You're going to love it. And our winner today is, I'm going to post it right now, it's Leah Helen Schmidt. So congratulations again, and thank you all for participating. We're going to come back on Friday next week and talk a little bit too about holiday presents. We want to make sure that you can use the hashtag VZWBuzz and ask any questions that you have on buying technology for yourself and for anyone in your family or friends during the holidays. So all through December, feel free to post on VZWBuzz any questions that you might have on technology that you want to buy. And I know, Robin, you're going to be super helpful at assisting people on purchasing technology. Do you have any plans for your own technology this year?
I don't know. I'm working on my list for Santa Claus right now. I know everybody in my family has a list for me. They all want different phones and tablets and things like that. A lot of battery packs are on the list too, and speakers.
Yeah, battery packs tend to be really, really good gifts. Everyone loves a battery booster because we've all been stuck without data. Without a charge on some airport somewhere, or even, when our kids go to school, I now stick a little battery booster on Sammy's backpack, because I want to make sure she has always a charged phone one way or another. No excuses for not calling mom.
That's right. No more my phone was dead, Mom. Nope.
It was dead, Mom. Exactly. So anyway, thanks everyone. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Friday. Thanks again, Robin. Take care. Thank you, Misty and Marty.